Shelly Studio today. Well, I'm just doing a page, really. This is inspired by some phrenology charts that I have seen. I actually, when I was searching, I saw a cyanometer, and basically it was watercolor gradations. Now, this isn't cyan blue. I used acrylic rather than watercolor. And this is the bluest blue I could find in my random watercolor things. So it's more, this would be more, I don't know what color it is, but not exactly cyan. Anyway, I do two different colors. I can't remember if I used the other one. Like, they're two different shades of blue. They're really close, but one's just a little greener than the other. But I've been looking at phrenology charts and pages and ran across the cyanometer and kind of wanted to include it in a journal project that I am starting. I don't know if that video is out yet. If it is, I'll link it. Otherwise, it'll be linked in the future. But I'm just getting gradations of those two different colors using acrylic inks rather than watercolor. And then once it's dry, I decided I wanted it to be more interesting than just plain paper. So I have this stamp. It has a lot of Paris stuff on there. I don't really care if it says Paris. I just want something interesting printed on my papers, and not every piece is going to have something, but just wanted to have some interest going on them. They're going to be cut up or torn into little sections. All right. So once that is dry, now I'm going to flip it over, and I think I do 1/2 inch sections. Oh, 3/4 inch sections. I think I decided 1/2 inch was too small, which probably wouldn't have been, and 1 inch was way too big. So the charts that I've seen were big. Like, it was a big hoop, and you put all the colors around in a gradation, and then you could hold it up to the sky and determine which color, which, and they had them all numbered and stuff. I don't know, for tracking purposes, maybe. One of the pages I went to says the cyanometer can actually measure moisture in the sky. I don't know enough about that kind of stuff. Is a darker blue more moisture, or a lighter blue more moisture because there's clouds? I don't know. So I did wet the back so that it would tear easier. So now I've got my strips, and then I'm just going to do them about 1 inch, the width of my ruler, just and keeping them in gradation order so I don't get confused. And then once I get those all torn, we're going to make a circle. Now, I had seen the cyanometer a long time ago and was just kind of remembering it to create this. Well, plus I have the Tracy Fox printables, but I wasn't really looking at them for this, and I thought it was like a gradation where it's smooth all the way around, but they actually do one spot is dark and it goes all the way around till the light meets the dark. And I may attempt another one with watercolor and get like a real blue color rather than the more green color. So I think I have too many pieces. That's not going to fit on a sheet of paper in a circle. It's a little too big. How is everyone today? I hope you're doing well. It's a good day today. Good day here. So I'm trying to make my circle look round. It's still too big. This paint palette's too big for a sheet of paper. So I do pull out some of the color and try to get it down. Now that's about the size of the one I saw, but it was not put in a book. It was when you held up to the sky, which is fine. But I'm just eliminating so I can have a smaller circle. There we go. Decided maybe I want a little less light and a little more dark. Now I've got to fit those onto a piece of paper. So I grabbed just some inexpensive art paper. I don't even know what kind it was. It is not very good quality, but I'm like, this is an experiment. We're just messing around. And grabbed some more acrylic ink and just doing a wash on here. It's not a very even wash. But, and I'm not sure. What do you think about this color combo? I couldn't make it blue because I was already doing the blue circle, right? So I had to pick another color, and you're limited if I'm using the acrylic inks, I'm limited to my color choices. I decided to splatter a little bit, go with the unevenness. I don't think he even noticed the splatters in the end, but to kind of go with the unevenness of the wash. And again, I'm going to do a stamp on here just to add texture to the background. I don't know that any of this is visible in the end, or if you can even tell. I am using, is it cracked pistachio? No, peeled paint, Distress Oxide. I'm just going to stamp that on using my Baron to press it in. I think I wiggled too much because it looks a tad blurry when I lift it up. I think it moved around a little. But like I said, it'll hardly be noticeable in the end. So I'm creating a circle so that I have something to line up my papers on. And the circle's not the right size. I start doing this and then decide it would be better. I think I decide to draw an actual circle that I could line that up with. I am using it's like some random scrap watercolor paper that I had, and it's really, really thick. So I'm deciding it would look better if I used the actual line of the circle to make my circle. So I've got to find a different size circle. And I have this pen holder and decide, yeah, that's what I'm going to use. It'll still go off the page a little bit, but it'll look better if I can line those ends right up with the pencil line. There we go. Now all I got to do is glue it down. So I'm just taking my art glitter glue, because that bonds fairly quickly. Erasing the other pencil marks. And then just lining them up around the circle. Use my little paperweight. I'm just working my way around. So yeah, I am speeding this up even further to for your ease of viewing. And yeah, if I'm going too slow, going too fast, you can always manually change the speed that you're viewing it at. Just the little wrench up in the corner. And I'm not erasing every bit, just where it's going to show on that previous circle. If this had been watercolor, that erasing would have affected the paper a little bit more. But since it's the acrylic ink, it's not too bad. Okay, once I get all those done, I feel like, I don't know, it needed more. So I decide to, since I had some more watercolor strips, that I would put an inside circle. And yes, these ones do overlap. So I made it a little bit shorter. And yeah, just going around the inside circle. Trying to keep the shading about the same. Hopefully. That's why I'm doing every other side, to keep it balanced. There we go. All right. So then I decided I wanted, it needs more, right? The page needs more. So I decided I will do a circle around the outside. And I should have just freehanded this, but I tried to line up my palette. I'm using my light source to make sure I have it in the right spot, and I don't. You can even see there's blue poking out. I'm like, what the heck did I just do? Totally should have done it freehand, like I'm doing right now. So I have that extra line, and this is done with Stabilo All, which is going to activate when wet, and I thought maybe I could wash it off, like wet it and blot it up, but there's still a line. I tried. So what do you do when you make such a faux pas? You make it part of the piece, right? You incorporate your accident into the piece itself, which is what I end up doing. I'm still blotting, but I do eventually just accept it. So I'm just going around the Stabilo with my brush and creating sort of a shadow effect. Redrawing that line. We learn from our mistakes, right? If you can't see it, don't use it. All right. And yeah, to incorporate that, I just decide to darken that line back up and create shading on it. Oh, but first, before I do that, I was looking for something, an object of some kind, and I have these homemade birds. Some are watercolor, some are colored pencil. And I was trying to decide which one. I decided to go for the big one. They do have a white border around them, but that's as fussy as I cut. Because those were all color copied by me and hand cut. I decided to do the same thing to the inner circle. I thought about doing it around the middle, in between the two rings of watercolor, but I figured I would just mess it up. So then I dried that all, and yeah, we're going back and we're just going to re-emphasize this mistake and just make it part of the page, because that's what we do. And I dried it again, and I was going to add the bird, and then decided it needed more interest, so I'm going to add some lines. And I decided to help me make straight lines, I would pull out my Tim Holtz whatever this is, craft mat. But really for that ruler that has the edge on it to help me keep things straight. And just putting random lines in. I decided it needed some words, so I looked up Latin botanical terms, and I'm just writing it really scribbly so that it's not really legible. Kind of like a semic writing, but not really. Because I need a word for my hand to go in that way. So yeah. I have a few words. And this pen I have, it's, sorry, you can hear me rattling around in my pens. It's 0.35 millimeter. It doesn't have a name, but it is pretty waterproof, I decided. Like, I did let it dry there for a little bit. But yeah, there's nothing in English for me to even, and I just stole it from my nephew. He left it sitting on the table, and I took it because I wanted to try it out. And I've really enjoyed it, and I wish I knew what it was, because I would order more. Like, I've had it for over a year now. I'm sure he long forgot about it. Maybe if I do an image search. If I do an image search and find it, I will link it in the description box below. It does have a barcode on there, so that could get me somewhere. Yeah, I'll find it. Link it below. So I add a little bit more lines with Stabilo just to emphasize those. And yeah, I made copies. Anyway, here it is. What do you think? Interesting color combination? Maybe a little strong? I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your comments. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, do all the things. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have an awesome day.